Yo, it's your boy Wes the Tech here to bring you another one of my personal favorite tech tips to help you as an artist grow in your craft. Now, today we're going to go over music metadata. So if you're a recording artist who's looking into knowing more information about music metadata, then this is the perfect video for you, because in this video, I'm going to explain everything that you need to know about metadata and why it is important to you as an independent artist. All right. Now, before I continue, I definitely want to let you guys know about my free music business checklist tool that's available to download from my website right now. This is for any one of you guys who's looking into starting your own music business, but don't quite know where to start. With this free tool, you'll actually be able to identify 3 things that you can do right away to start your own music business. So if you want to grab that free tool today, you can click on the link above. I'll also leave the link in the descriptions below. All right. Now, when it comes to metadata, I think the first thing we need to identify is what metadata actually is, right? By definition, metadata is simply information or data that is attached to another file. Right? So when we're talking about music metadata, essentially what we're saying is that there is information or additional data that is attached to your music file, your MP3 file or WAV file, whatever music file that you particularly have. Now, I know some of you guys are probably asking, why is this metadata important? Well, this metadata is important for a number of reasons, but we have to understand in all those different aspects of why it is important, right? So the first reason, and I think the most important reason that you need to know about metadata and need to know how to apply it is when you're dealing with certain music distribution companies or certain streaming services, I should say, that require metadata in order for them to pay out your royalties, right? A great example of this is SoundCloud, all right? SoundCloud is one of the streaming platforms that I personally don't ever recommend, because when you don't fill out your metadata, they will not pay you, and they won't let you know to fill out your metadata. They give you an opportunity to, but they're not going to say, hey, now that you've uploaded a song, before you finish the process, make sure you have all the metadata filled out, because if you don't, we won't pay you, right? This is why metadata is important, and this is why you need to know about it as much as you can, right? So what is in metadata? What is the information that's actually on an MP3 file? Well, honestly, it's everything that has to do with the song, right? It's the artist name, it's the song title, it's the cover art, right? It's the record label that's associated with it. Maybe the lyrics are a part of the metadata, right? Think about way back when MP3 players first came out, right? Or even before that, with CDs, right? When you had a CD and you put it into your CD player in the car, right? This is a lot of the cars, they'll show you the name of the song right there, right? I'm talking about older cars. When you were playing a CD, it'll tell you the name of the song and the artist. It'll tell you all of that stuff. It won't say track 1. It'll literally say the name of the song. The computer that's in that CD player is reading the information that's on the MP3. Without that information, all they see is the audio. And all they could do is regurgitate the audio. The information that they're getting from that CD is through the actual metadata, right? Same thing with the MP3 player, right? When you had your first iPod and you were putting songs on there, the single cover would come up and the name of the song would come up and the artist name. They're getting all of that through the metadata, all of it, right? So that is where metadata really started, right? But now we're to a point, like I mentioned earlier with SoundCloud, that if you're not putting it in your metadata in all the places and all the information that needs to be there, right, it can hinder you as an artist from actually getting paid throughout your royalties, which is why it's important, right? If they're asking for ISRC codes or ISWC codes, which is things that SoundCloud asks for, that's metadata information that you have to put in, because if you don't put those in, again, you won't get paid. The ISWC code, what is that tied to? That's tied to your performing rights organization. They are the people who collect your royalties when it comes to everything that you write as an artist, right? So if you don't put that code in, they don't know who to pay. Same thing for the ISRC code. The ISRC code is tied to your mechanical royalties, right? Your streaming royalties. If that code isn't in there, they don't know who to pay out the streaming royalties to. So if you don't have this information filled out, SoundCloud won't pay you, right? And there are other places that are just like that, which is why it's important to know not only what metadata is, but what metadata information that you have to put in. Rule of thumb for me is whatever information they're asking for, fill out every single box. Don't leave any box empty unless you absolutely can't put something in there, because you want to make sure that you get paid for every time somebody listens to your song. All right. Another important factor of metadata and why you need to know about metadata is a lot of radio stations require you to submit your metadata outside of just submitting the song, right? When you email a record label your song and you just send them the MP3, most of the time they're going to reject it, or they're going to tell you, hey, we need your metadata. We need the other information. We need the song title. We need the name of the song. We need the features, the writers, the composers, who produced it, what record labels. They need all of that information before they could actually play it on the radio. Why? Because they have to submit that information so that you can get paid, right? All of that information is important, which is why metadata is so much more important now than it was back then, because metadata is really the main way that we as artists are able to be identified when it comes to all of those different things paying us out, right? So that's why it's important for metadata. Now, if you're submitting on a form or something, or, like I said, SoundCloud, and it shows you the form and it shows you everything that you need to fill out, that's easy metadata to fill out. But sometimes they will literally ask you to have the metadata within the MP3 itself, right? So how do you get that metadata information in the actual MP3 file itself? Well, the easiest way to do that is when you're first bouncing it or exporting the song from whatever DAW that you actually recorded it on. All right. So with me, I use Pro Tools. Pro Tools is the industry standard. All right. But every single DAW that you could actually record music on and mix and master and export it and everything like this, you are actually able to enter in this information as well. Right. But if you were to actually export a song or bounce out a song from Pro Tools, right, the first thing is going to ask you after you pick the name of the file is this screen will come up and it's going to show you the metadata information that you can put in. And you can just fill out all of this information. And this information, again, will be attached to that MP3 once it's exported out. Some places require you to actually have the MP3 file just like this in order for them to receive it. I know when it comes to submitting your music to the billboards, right? If you ever want your music on the billboards, you actually have to have the metadata within the MP3 before you submit it to them, right? There are different sectors and different places in the music industry. You have to do it this way as well. This is why metadata is important, right? The information we know the artist name, we know the title of the song, we know what record label it is, we know all of those different things, right? ISWC code, we have that if we have a performing rights, right? ISRC code, right? We have that if we have a music distributor, right? But getting that information into the metadata is the most important part of it, all right, guys? I wanted to make sure I made this video so you guys really understand the importance of metadata and why you need to make sure it's always filled out no matter where you are. If they're asking for the metadata and they're asking for information on the song, fill out as much information as you can. Do not leave anything out unless you absolutely can't answer it. For example, if you're not part of a record label, right, you can't put anything there. So put NA or something, right? But things like the song title, the ISRC, these things have to be there. They have to be there because that's how you're actually going to get paid. That's how they're actually going to identify you so that they can pay you, all right? But that's pretty much it, guys. That's what this video was about. Really just getting down to explaining what metadata is, why it's important, and why you need to make sure that you as an artist know how to enter in that metadata in all of those different places. So again, if it's something like SoundCloud or radio station forms or something like that you're filling out, they'll probably ask you all of that information and they'll put the metadata in themselves. But if somebody is asking you to submit the MP3 with the metadata already in it, then you need to make sure that you're exporting it the right way from whatever DAW you're using so that the metadata is there within the MP3, right? So that once they click on that MP3 and the song plays, all the information comes up, the cover song, the cover art comes up in everything, right? That is what the metadata is for, all right? But that's pretty much it, guys. Now, of course, before I let you guys go, I definitely want to let you guys know about my book here, the 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Music Business. All right, this is for any one of you guys who's looking into leaving your 9-to-5 job so that you could do music full-time like myself. If you want to know my secrets and how I was able to do it, is the steps in this book. If you follow these steps, it'll put you in the right position so that you can leave your 9-to-5 job and do music full-time just like myself. I have an ebook version of it and I have a physical version of it. It's through my website. You guys go check that out, all right? But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope this video helped you understand metadata more, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
I feel like Moses, big Moses. Yeah. Can nobody hold me? Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling like Daniel, Big Daddy. Yeah. Can nobody face me? Yeah. I feel like Joe.